Greetings, everybody. This is the Rec Center Show on KSCW 103.1 FM. Your host, Gary Cohen. And our special guest today is Mr. Jim Sloan, the president of the governing board of the Rec Centers of Sun City West. Jim, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good to be here, and thank you very much for your welcome.
And, of course, a very busy time. Most of our people from out of town are now back. The community has swollen to its usual size. Busy time for you, I bet.
It is indeed, and as I was walking over here, I was admiring the number of people playing sports in the ping pong and bocce ball. Even this morning is a bit chilly. Racquetball, all of those are full up. The pool's being used appropriately. A lot of cars in the parking lot, so a lot of folks are back, and we're welcoming them, and we're going to have a good winter here. We're going to have a great time this next several months.
And it's the best time of year. I mean, you look about all the wild weather that's going on around the country. You sit around at night watching the news, and you can't believe what other people. It really makes you thankful for us not having those natural disasters.
Boy, no kidding. And right now we're experiencing the wildfires in California and the tornadoes and in places that shouldn't have tornadoes. And here we sit in the lovely weather, and I'll take 110 anytime versus a tornado or a fire. So.
Absolutely. And there's a lot going on, a busy time in your office. Mr. James Riley has been very busy working on CCNRs. Tell us what's happening there.
Well, as just a quick review, in July, the rec centers took over the CCNRs back from PORA, which they had been for the last 30 years or so. And we thought at the time it was the right decision to make. And it turns out that it was. We have a team of 3 people. James Riley is the lead person on that, and there's 3 assistants to him, and they do a wonderful job. We get about 200 complaints a month from various things. Weeds are the most common. You'll appreciate RVs right now are second on the lot list, and then a myriad of other things like fencing and patios and pergolas and any number of those kinds of things. And so they go out, they see the complaint within a day. They're there within 24 hours, which I think is good, remarkable. At that time, they make a determination if it is really a violation. They deal with that appropriately, send a letter, and then it goes, hopefully gets remediated very quickly, and we move on. If it doesn't, then fines begin. There are fines. We are authorized legally to do fines. If the homeowner disagrees with that, they do have the right to appeal to the board. And thus far this year, we've had already 3 since July. So we've had 3 appeals to the board, and we've dealt with those, each of them independently. So it's going fine. The team is a good team, and James is a very competent leader of that team.
And of course, as we look at our neighboring states having this fire situation, and you always hear about people needing to do their maintenance around their own space, so you don't have something that could fuel a fire around here. And we have a windy time right now. Do people need to be doing their due diligence around their homes to make sure we don't have something even close to what's going on there? Yeah.
Well, that's a good point. I had not thought of that. I just look at stuff flying through my yard from the neighbors' palm trees and stuff, and that's dangerous at times if you're in the wrong spot at the wrong time. So yes, I think we need to make sure that our homes are debris free and cleaned up properly. Certainly.
Super stuff. And of course, there's going to be some changes in 2020. The governing board. I know there's some openings. And elections are really important. Could you talk to us about the importance of folks living here being involved in that election process?
Well, as you know, the governing board is comprised of nine members. 3 of us come off the board each year, and so 3 people are added to the board each year. So this is my last year. There's 3 of us that is going off. I'm going off in July. And we, beginning this next week, actually in November 1, the packet for running for this board is open for people, and we need candidates. We want folks to run. We want a reason to come out to the campaign and a reason to vote. And it's critical that we care about this because this board has made some significant decisions in my 3 years that I've been here. For example, the CCNR is taking over the CCNR. That was a board decision. The guest policies that we have reinitiated, the visitor policy in clubs we just voted on last Friday. those are significant events in our community. Without competent leaders on that board, we're not sure what's going to happen. And we've got a great board right now. They're working hard, and I'd like that to continue. I would like to have 10 or 15 candidates on the board for 3 positions. And in the past, we've had 2 or 3 years since I've been looking at it that we only had 3 candidates for 3 positions. And that's not a good situation in a democracy. So we need choices, and we need people willing to step up and give back to the community. Many of us have done similar leadership in private life before, and this is an extension of that. It's engaging, it's fun, it's you feel like you're making a contribution. You have camaraderie, you make great friends, and you meet people around the community that you never thought you'd meet before, and it's just a fun experience and a good contribution to the community.
Let me ask you, for those who are new to the community, is this still something they can think about?
Absolutely.
Because they may not be new to having this similar role in a different place they've lived.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. Now is the time to do that. If they would like to give me a call, I'm in the Rec Center News. My email or my phone number are in both of those regularly. Or just go on the website, give me a call, and I'll be happy to talk with them about it and give some insights on what it takes to run for the board. And after you get elected, what are you going to do then? And that's another part of the scenario that needs to be discussed.
How hard will it be for you to step away? You've been so involved in so much that's happened here, and July is a long time from now. But as it gets closer next year, do you give thought to what you want your legacy to be here?
Well, legacy is a big word, but if you look at it, it's whatever it is, 8 or 9 months from now, 7. But you look back 8 or 9 months, and that's gone pretty darn fast. So this is going to go real fast for me, and I'm busy and I'm engaged in the community. So what I'm going to do next, I'm not sure. I'm working through some stuff right now. I've got some ideas that would keep me engaged and busy. I'm a cyclist, so I ride my bike regularly. I keep active that way, and I'm a woodworker and do some other things around town. So I think I'll find some stuff that I'll be active in and keep going. And the legacy, I think that we've made some good contributions, and I can't claim those as legacy for me, but I can for the whole board. And for sure, the 3 of us that are going off the board have done yeoman's work on staying active and staying engaged and making contributions.
We're doing this show at this time of year when Thanksgiving is on the calendar.
Yes.
And when you, again, look at what's going on in other parts of the country and perhaps even other parts of the world,
right,
and you're able to wake up every morning here with pure sunshine, there's a lot to be thankful for here.
I agree with you. And when you watch the news and you watch the Syrians running out of Syria and getting bombed and all that stuff, and I just thank God for being born in the United States and being born into a family that allowed me to engage and volunteer and doing all of the stuff that is such a wonderful thing. And then moving to Sun City West, Arizona to live in paradise for my retirement. I'm blessed well beyond what I deserve, and I'm very thankful for all of that.
I'm sure there's a lot of people who are living here, hopefully all, when they look at those things that are happening around the world, and you're able to safely walk the streets here and not have to look over your shoulder. There's a lot that you all do that make us all thankful for being here.
Right. It's interesting to listen to complaints that I hear, and when you think about them in the whole scheme of things, our complaints are so minuscule and so first world issues. The pool was too cold and it's not warming up as fast as it should be. Those kinds of things, and that's I guess that's a problem, but it's not a big problem. And come on, we're going to get through this and be thankful for that for what we have and what we've been given. So,
it's all perspective. If somebody is complaining about the pool, well, if they put on a news network, they might be watching someone's pool being used to put out a fire.
Right. Boy, that changes things, doesn't it, real fast?
Right?
Yeah.
You really, I couldn't help but think about how thankful, you're sitting there in your living room, it's a beautiful night, temperatures now in the 50s, and you're watching someone who's just lost everything.
Yes, and here we are.
Yeah, and here we are, right?
Yeah.
So your message in the newspaper of thankfulness is really strong message. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I believe that. I really am thankful for what I have and for a family and loving wife and kids and all of that stuff and that we kind of just take for granted at times. But here we are, and we need to be thankful. This is a good time to just stop and think about what we have.
I think it is. I mean, that holiday time, it's that overall holiday. You're right.
Right.
I think if we all just stop and think for a minute about
Right.
what we have,
Right.
what's in front of you,
Right.
and really appreciate it, right?
I couldn't agree more.
I mean, I looked at, there was a time in my life when I had lost a position that I was working at, and I thought I was having a bad time. And then I was in a restaurant and watched a teenager who was in a wheelchair
Yeah.
being fed by his parents. And suddenly I stopped thinking about my so-called tough day,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Perspective, right?
I feel the same way. There's so many blessings here. Here's one that I just stumbled on that I think has been helpful, and I've been repeating this, is my sister recently moved to Colorado Springs because of health issues and so forth. So she said she had this insight when she left. The thing I'm going to miss most about Sun City West is the fact that I'm not the oldest. I'm never the oldest here. There's always someone older than me that's a role model for me to do whatever I'm doing. Hers was water aerobics or working in the library or singing or whatever she did. And that struck me so profoundly because I look around and I ride bicycles with 85-year-old men and I do other things, events, woodworking that with 95-year-old men that are still doing stuff. And what a role model. I don't have to quit just because I'm retired. I'm certainly not laid up just because I'm getting older. And that's not a big deal anymore. So.
Well, I know one thing on the subject of thankfulness. I am thankful that I live here, and that there are people like you who actually really care about the community. You live here. You care. You're part of the community. You're not just the head of a board. You are among all of us. I think that counts. I really do.
I think so too, and I love the folks here. I've made so many good friends and so many people that I never would have met in any other fashion than this. So it's good to be here.
Absolutely. You're listening to the Rec Center Show on KSCW 103.1 FM. Jim, I'd like to give you, as this show will air in the holiday season, if you would like to offer a holiday message to the thousands of people who live out here.
Well, I want us to be mindful of who we are and what we have here and be thankful for that. This is the time of year to stop and just be grateful for what we have. Many of us worked hard for it, but without other forces coming into play, we wouldn't have what we have here. And so I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for people that work hard to make us successful here, and our staff and our volunteers, all of those people I am grateful for. And I would just encourage all of us to stop and be grateful.
Super. Jim Sloan, President of the Governing Board of the Rec Centers of Sun City West, I thank you so much as always for joining us.
My pleasure.
Yeah. And happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
And to you too, Gary.
And we'll look forward to speaking to you again.
I'll look forward to it.